Today, we are taking a long trip down memory lane to a series that no longer exists anymore, to a former NASCAR sanctioned series that had a hometown feel while also racing at the big boy tracks, to a series where any common man could pick up a car and go race. To a generation of older fans, you know which series I'm talking about, but to a generation of younger fans who are my age or younger, you probably have never heard or ever seen a single race. This was the Goody's Dash series. For those who have never seen or heard of this series, this is what the Goody's Dash series was. And a huge shout out to the one and only NASCAR man for helping me get a better understanding of what this series was. The link to his Twitter and channel are in the description. In the early 1970s, a trend began where people started making much smaller cars, and the natural progression was to eventually race them. When the series first took off, it wasn't even sanctioned by NASCAR. It was truly a grassroots operation. Eventually, NASCAR got a hold of the owner and took the role as the official sanctioning body for the series. The series' first ever name, I kid you not, the first ever name was officially the Baby Grand National Series. Oh my goodness, what a name. When NASCAR officially got a hold of the series, it wasn't even called the Goody's Dash series until the late 90s. There were various names from the likes of the International Sedan series, the Darlington Dash series, the Charlotte/Daytona Dash series, and finally, just the simple NASCAR Dash series. The most notable series regulars to come from this era include Hut Strickland, Michael Waltrip, Phil Parsons, the late Rodney Orr, who won a championship in the early 90s, and of course one of the most successful female drivers in history in Shauna Robinson. But like I said in the very beginning, this was a series made up of mostly regular people, grassroots racers, just fans and people in general who just wanted to live out a dream, to become a NASCAR driver. And since this was technically a NASCAR sanctioned series, yes, technically these drivers are a part of NASCAR history. The series really began to hit its peak in the late 90s. Once NASCAR officially got Goodies on board, the NASCAR Goody's Dash series was officially born in 1992. From 1992 to 2003, these were the peak years of the series. But aside from NASCAR getting involved, the cars being super small, this being mostly a grassroots operation, you also had the iconic sound of these race cars. Just have a listen.
And the green flag waves, and here we go. Caught with a good jump, but on the inside, it is Will Hopgood grabbing the lead down the backstretch.
This is something we haven't seen, cars side by side. There we see Edward Howell. On the outside of Mickey York's car. Mickey currently running fourth spot. Here's Ernest Winslow, the third place car. Second place car of Larry Caudill. And there's Chris Brown back in the field about 15th, 18th.
Back in the day, most of the Goody's Dash teams used V6 engines, I believe because they were mostly cost-friendly. Despite the iconic sound and look of the cars, the most iconic thing about this series to me was, of course, the wrecks.
Stacy's car slides all the way to the dirt embankment separating the infield from Lake Lloyd, and Stacy goes plop into Lake Lloyd. That has not happened since Bay Darnell did it in 1964, and only the third driver in history to do it.
There's Donnie Duchesne, and he comes up and just gets a little bit loose. He goes across the racetrack, makes contact with Duchesne, and now he's going to just start flipping over. He got sideways, just started over and over. Looked like your dad back here in 1988, didn't it, Kyle?
Exactly.
Let's see if we can see what happened to Danny Bagwell. Wow, car tumbling side over side. The windshield is gone. Parts and pieces flying off. The tires are gone. The axle, the rear end is gone. Motor parts out of the car. The hood is gone. The roof is gone.
Orange County Raceway in North Carolina. Scott Weaver sets off a yard sale. Car parts for $1 everywhere. No spectators were injured. Thankful for that. Better than that, or as good as that.
Whenever they raced at tracks like Charlotte, Daytona, and Darlington, there was always about to be something popping off. I'm telling you, I've been watching these older races for weeks now, and it felt like that the tiniest sort of spin would send these cars on a rails. They would start flipping, you know, they would start wrecking, all this madness. And I think it has to do with really the size of the car and the amount of horsepower that was in that particular car. Lots of variables led to these sort of exciting moments, but unfortunately during their peak there were problems. I don't think it was anyone's fault in particular, but it was a sign that the times were changing. In the 1990s, there was a huge influctuation of popularity around the sport, which meant there was going to be more money. And once these teams had more money, they just bypassed the Dash Series entirely and wanted to go bush racing. Then later on in the mid-90s, the Truck Series was added, so in a way, the Goody's Dash Series days were officially numbered. In 2003, at what was probably the peak of NASCAR's popularity, they announced that this would be the final year they would have the Goody's Dash Series as a sanctioned NASCAR series, and then later on, Goody's announced they were officially leaving as the title sponsor after 2003. The most notable names to come out of the final era of the Goody's Dash Series in the later years were none other than Shane Mill, Kerry Earnhardt, and even Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s former spotter, TJ Majors. In October of 2003, the final Goody's Dash Series race took place at Atlanta, with Robert Huffman winning the championship in the number 37 Toyota. That's right, Toyota joined the Goody's Dash Series long before they joined the Cup Series. Entering 2004, Goody's and NASCAR sanctioned the series no more, but it was brought back to life.
There's a lot that's new at Daytona for Speed Weeks 2004. Nextel replaces Winston, Sunoco replaces 76, and iPower replaces NASCAR as the sanctioning body for what we've long known as the Goody's Dash Series.
The former Goody's Dash Series name was now rebranded into the iPower Racing Dash Series. Doesn't really have the same ring to it, but the most important part of the story is that the series was being kept alive. Or so we thought. When the green flag flew, in typical Dash Series fashion, they couldn't even make it 10 laps without crashing. This massive hit took place on lap 9, and the caution was out for a very long time. When the caution flew, one particular driver was still on pit road, Ray Papoda. He was a unique driver in a sense because he was a paraplegic. He could not walk. Papoda didn't make the initial start due to battery issues, but under the first caution, he was able to get it fixed and was waved around once. But then on the lap in which he was trying to get caught up with the field, things took a dramatic turn. So as he's trying to get caught up with the field, the broadcast immediately goes to commercial. They come back with a shot of one of the drivers being lifted on a stretcher, which is bad enough, but then it gets worse.
Now we've had something happen here because Ray Papoda, he just came out on the racetrack after this caution. He has all kinds of damage there. The instigator on the back of his car
Hasn't yet run a lap of green.
I don't know what happened, Larry, but it looks just like somebody has run through the back of that race car.
Roy Weaver, a track safety worker who had been working there since 1996, was hit by that very car. Papoda couldn't get his car stopped in time and hit Weaver going just over 100 miles per hour, killing him instantly.
During the caution period, an accident occurred that has involved one of the track's safety workers. So the cars have been brought to pit road and halted under the red flag, where we remain with 19 laps completed. Speed Channel coverage from Daytona International Speedway will continue after this word.
The race did finish under green later that night. It was shortened up a little bit, but even though it finished, the Dash Series was officially dead. nobody would touch it. In 2005, they tried to return to Daytona, but Daytona International Speedway wanted nothing to do with the former series, and after all of those efforts, the 2005 season was officially canceled. It got so bad that I kid you not, the Dash Series was even posted up on eBay for a whopping $100,000. Of course, there were no buyers. In late 2005, the series rebranded into the IS Cars Dash Series. It ran 4 races in 2005, and from 2006 to 2011, the series continued to run, but nowhere near the levels of what it was when it was officially backed by NASCAR. The legacy of the Dash Series is a bit complicated. Despite it being a bit of a joke towards the end, it gave us Michael Waltrip, Hut Strickland, Phil Parsons, Shauna Robinson, the late Rodney Orr, Shane Meal, Kerry Earnhardt, and of course, the spotter we all know and love, Mr. TJ Majors. Without the Dash Series, it's very unlikely that Camry would have been running in NASCAR at all. So in a way, the Dash Series did produce some talented drivers as well as getting brand new manufacturers into the sport. If you are a former competitor or crewman in this series, let me know down in the comments what it was like. And once again, that'll do it for another video. Also, channel merch is officially up. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Black Flags Matter. Catch you next time.